This is Joanna and welcome back to another video for the happy little stampers. And today I'm using this really cute butterfly set, and I'm going to use the butterfly in the top left corner. And I'm starting out by creating my card base, and this is a standard size card, so it's 5.5 and 4 1/4. And I'm going to do some Copic coloring, so I'm using a Copic friendly cardstock. This is Simon Says Stamp ultra heavy cardstock, so Copics won't bleed through. And then I'm mounting my butterfly on top of my stamp press, and I haven't used this stamp before, so I'm just using some stamp cleaner to clean off any oil, so I know that this stamp will stamp perfect on my card. And then I'm just masking off the back side of my card using some wide post-it tape. And then it's time to stamp all of my butterflies, and I'm starting out with a bubble gum, and I'm stamping it in the left corner. And then I'm using my Hero Arts stamp cleaner again. And this smells really good. It smells like bubble gum. I just love it. And then I'm using Pool to stamp my next butterfly. And this is going to be a rainbow order. And I'm using my stamp cleaner again. And then I'm using Green Hills. And I stamp my third butterfly. And again, I'm using my bubblegum scented stamp cleaner to clean off my stamp. And then I'm using Butter Bar, and I just love this shade of yellow. I think it's so beautiful. And lastly, I'm using Orange Soda. And there is the last butterfly on the card. And then it's time for the coloring, and I'm using Copic markers, as I said earlier, to color in all of my butterflies. And I will only show you how I color in this yellow one, because I'm doing the same for the rest of the butterflies. I will, as you can see, the red butterfly is not looking similar to this yellow one, but I will fix that later. So what I'm doing is I'm adding my darker shade of yellow in the corners of the butterfly or on the edges of the wings of the butterfly, and then I'm using my mid-tone color to blend it out, and I'm using my lightest color towards the body of the butterfly, and then I'm using also the mid-tone and the darkest on the body of the butterfly. And I have some white on the edges of the butterfly's wings here, and I really liked how that looked, so I'm just using a white gel pen to to paint in some white on top of the butterfly's wings, so it looks similar to the yellow one. And then I'm just adding some colors on top of all of the other butterflies in a similar fashion as I did with the yellow one. And then I'm using some stickles, because I want this card to be really shimmery and cheerful and happy. So I'm not using Wink of Stella as I normally always do, so I'm going for the heavier stuff today, so I'm using stickles. So I'm adding with the paintbrush stickles on top of the body and also towards the edges of the butterfly's wings. And here you can see how beautiful it turned out. I think it's so sparkly and so beautiful. And then I have some vellum, and I also have some glitter paper. And I'm using a sentiment from another set. This is called Mix Match. And I really like this set. It has such bold sentiments. It has really pretty sentiments in the butterfly set as well. But I wanted a sentiment that was a little bit bolder, so that's why I went with this one. So I'm using my anti-static tool there, just to remove any static, so that the embossing powder will only stick to the Versamark. And then I'm stamping my sentiment on top of my vellum piece. And then I will use one of my favorite embossing powder. This is the silver embossing powder from Hero Arts, and I just love how it turns out when you melt it. It's so creamy and smooth, and it looks beautiful. And here I have heated up my heat tool before I brought it to my vellum piece, and then while the embossing powder is still warm, I'm working the vellum to prevent warping. And here you can see how smooth and beautiful it turned out. And here is my glitter paper, and I'm cutting a thin strip so I can use it on my card. And this particular glitter paper has adhesive on the back, so I really love this one. But if you don't have glitter paper, you can of course use the same embossing powder as you did for your sentiment, and you can just emboss a thin strip of cardstock. And this is, I just love this paper, so I will actually save that small piece for another card. And then I will adhere my vellum strip on top of the card as well. And I will just fold it where I think this looks the best. And then I will use my ATG to adhere it on the back side of the card. And then the card is almost finished. I used my corner jumper to round the two bottom corners with the 1/2-inch rounder just to finish off the card. And I think that made all the difference. And I really enjoyed making this summery card. You know, I live in the northern part of Europe, so we have had a really long and cold and dark winter. But now the spring is finally here, so I really felt like doing something summery with a rainbow. And lots and lots and lots of glitter. So I really hope that you like the card and that you like the video, and here you can see all the sparkle again. So thank you guys so much for watching and take care. Bye!